So here we are down the reloading room. It's been a while since I did a video because I was busy working and busy elk hunting and busy hunting oryx down in New Mexico and busy hunting turkey. But anyway, it came to me the other day that I should do a video on basic reloading of shotgun shells, and I'll tell you why. Is that because in 1971 or 2, I walked into Treasure State Sporting Goods in Butte, Montana, and I bought this gun right here. It is a Savage Ranger, and it looks just like the Browning Sweet 16, except it doesn't have the shell stop on the backside here. And I use that shotgun for just about everything when I was growing up in Montana. It's a 16 gauge shotgun, and I still shoot mostly 16 gauge for almost everything except skeet and sporting clays and any of the competition shotgunning that I do. But anyway, I walked into Treasure State Sporting Goods, bought this shotgun, and a few weeks later I decided, since I was already loading for rifle, that I was going to load for my 16 gauge also. So I bought a Mech 600 Junior, and this is the original 600 Junior that I bought for my 16 gauge. Along with that, I bought powder and I bought shot and primers. But I can tell you this, that Don, who sold me the shotgun and then sold me the 600 Junior reloader, knew about as much about reloading shotgun shells as I did at the time. This is the old bars that used to come with the old Mech reloaders. And if you compare it to a new bar, this was, this is actually a little backwards. This was your powder, this was your shot, even though that these are both ounce shot bars, the powder was fixed. On the new Mechs, you have powder bushings that you can change the size of this hole for the different powders that you want to shoot. Well, Don, back in 1971 or 2, gave me a can of Alcan 7 to use with this bar. And I can tell you that Don gave me the wrong powder, because every time I went to the Butte Trap Club and squeezed off a round at a bird, I had extra powder coming out of the chamber of the gun. So with that said, that's kind of why I decided to do this video, is because you beginners at reloading shotgun shells, I'm just going to walk you through the basic steps of what you should do. Now, I've always used Mech, and there's other cheaper versions, like I think Lee makes one, and there's more expensive versions like Pontius Warren. I don't even know if they're still in business, but some of the progressive presses, like at the end of the bench here, I have a Progressive 9000. That's, I think they're about $1,000 now. These are fairly inexpensive, and I've loaded thousands of shells off the 600s. And like I say, I still have a 16 gauge 600 that I bought in 1971 or 2, and it has never given me any problems. The first thing you want to do is you want to get yourself a book like this. And I'll bring it a little bit closer for you. This is a Lineman Reloading Handbook for Shot Shells, and this is the 5th edition, and there's a whole bunch of editions. And depending on if I'm going to make an older roll crimp shell like they used to use in the 50s or 60s, I'll use like the 1st edition or the 2nd edition to get my loads. And as you load for the newer shells, you want to use some of the later editions. And I'll show you what's in here. And I've marked a page in here for you. This is what I use for my loads. As you can see there, I use Red Dot. And you can see there the powder is Red Dot. This is for 1 1/8 load. And I use 17.5 grains. And then you can see that if you go over, that's a Winchester AA 12 wad. You want to get a book like this because there's all sorts of different loads in this book for all different gauges. You can also go to some place like Ballistic Products and buy their Advantages manual. The only thing I don't like about this manual, and Ballistic Products has just thousands of loads for the different gauges. The only thing I don't like is they only list the wads that they sell. They don't list like the Winchester wads too much, or some of the Claybuster wads, which are some of the wads that I use specifically for shooting trap and skeet. Okay, so we've picked out our load that we're going to use out of our lineman book. So what I'm going to show you now is how to pick out the correct powder bushing. This comes with your MEC 600 Junior. You can also find this information on the web. But in this packet, there is a little pamphlet that's your powder bushing chart. And I want to show you something here. So we know by looking in the lineman book that we want to use about 17.5 grains of powder of Red Dot for our load. So I'm going to get, so here's this chart, and I'm going to give you a little close-up here. So as you can see on this chart, there is tons of different powders that are available to use for your loads. What we're going to look at is Red Dot, because that's the powder we're using, and the bushing. And if you go down to 17.5, you'll get to 17.8, and it's a 30 bushing that we need. Now you don't have to be too worried about being 1 grain here, 2 grains there, like you do with your rifle cartridges. So what I'm going to tell you is, it tells you 30 is your bushing, but you're going to put your 30 bushing in here, and you're going to put it in your reloader, and then you're going to check the powder charge a couple times to see if you're actually getting that 17.8 grains of powder that they tell you're going to do. In my case, my 30 bushing didn't throw enough powder. It was a few tenths of a grain shy of what I wanted, so I went to a 31 bushing, which gave me exactly 17.6 grains of Red Dot powder. So we're going to put, and before I get started there, I just want to show you this. This is the number of bushings that I carry for my reloaders, and I think these are $2 or $3 a piece. But as you can see, I have about probably 30 or 40 different bushings that I use for the different loads. So we're going to get started here, and we're going to take our charge bar, and we're going to just slide it in here on the top of our reloader. Put our screw in to hold it. This is your stop. Okay, we're just going to screw that in, and we'll tighten that down a little bit. Okay, so there's our charge bar that's installed. Next, okay, so this is when you want to figure out what your your charge is exactly with the bushing. You want to put your powder in and do a couple different charges to see what powder you're getting out of it, and then see if that's the correct bushing for what you want to use. So we're going to install our powder here on the powder side, and you'll see a P on the front of the reloader here. Then I'm going to use 9-shot, and I label all of these bottles because, especially with the powders, red dot, any of the Alliant powders like red dot, blue dot, green dot, they all have these little red flakes, blue flakes, green flakes, so they're easy to identify. But most of these powders aren't easy to identify, so make sure that when you put powder in these bottles that you label the bottles for the type of powder that you're using. Also, I label the bottles for the size of shot, like I have a number 9 up here to tell me this is number 9 shot. So, what we're going to do is this MIC 600 has 5 stations. I'm going to take a AA hull, and AA hulls are really good for reloading because you get like 7, 8, 9, 10 reloadings out of them. Also, the Remington STS shells are really good for doing this and reloading several times. Well, the first station on your mech has a resizing die in it, and it also punches the old primer out. The second station, it puts a new primer in here for you. Third station puts the powder in, puts the wad in, and puts the shot in. The fourth station over here does the pre-crimp, and the fifth station does the final crimp for you. So we're going to, I'm just reaching over here to get a couple primers. This mech I've equipped with an automatic primer feed, but I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to load them single here. So we're going to get started. Let me set this over to the side so you can kind of see. And you're going to punch your primer out, and you can see that it's been punched. You're going to load a primer in here, a new primer, in station 2, and you're going to prime the shell. And you're going to bring your handle down, and you're going to move this bar from the right side to the left side, and that's going to give you your powder charge. Then you're going to take this little device here. It's got your fingers in it, and you're going to push it down against your shell. And I'm going to use a AA type wad for this. And you're going to go down with the wad, and then you're going to go from left to right, and that's going to load all your shot for you. You can see how simple this is. Next, you're going to go to the station 4, and that starts your crimp for you. Okay. And then station 5, which is your final crimp. And you can see, and I'll bring this over, you can see that is a perfect crimp. Okay, let's do one more just so you kind of get the hang of this. Okay, you're going to take your AA shell and you're going to deprime it. You're going to put a primer in the primer cup here and put a new primer in your shell. You're going to bring your handle down, and you're going to go from right to left, and that's going to load your powder for you. Then you're going to push your fingers down, put your wad in, press your handle down, go from left to right, and that's going to load your shot for you. On station 4, this is going to do your pre-crimp for you. Nice pre-crimp. And then station 5 is your final crimp. And I'm going to show you this. and you can see that that's a perfect crimp again. So that's basically how it works. I'll show you. Here is a 410 I did earlier today. I'm loading some 410. This is 6. This has got the 6-star crimp on it. You can see that's a perfect crimp. And that came off of a Mix 600 I have down here. Anyway, I had a good reason for doing the video. It was for beginners because I had a hard time in the beginning learning how to load shot shells. And I hope this has been helpful to you. I just retired about a month ago, so hopefully I get a chance to do a few more videos. I've been busy with work and busy with elk hunting, and I hunted oryx in New Mexico on a statewide tag and turkey hunting. Anyway, I've been pretty busy, so hopefully I will get a chance to do some more videos for you guys, and I really appreciate you guys watching the videos, and hopefully my videos are helpful to somebody out there. Anyway, we'll see you on the next one.